How to use the spot in fantasy football effectively. Are you wondering how to make the most of the injured reserve spot in your fantasy football league? Let's break it down so you can maximize your roster's potential. The injured reserve spot is designed for players who are officially injured and marked as out or placed on injured reserve by their National Football League teams. This special roster position allows you to keep injured players while freeing up an active roster slot. The first step is to keep a close on injury reports. As soon as one of your players is ruled out and eligible for the injured reserve spot, move them there right away. This action opens up a roster spot for you to add a healthy player from the waiver wire or free agency. Timing is essential because waiver claims typically process once a week. By shifting players to injured reserve before the waiver deadline, you increase your chances of picking up impactful players. Another benefit of the injured reserve spot is its potential trade value. Players on injured reserve can still be valuable assets, especially in keeper or dynasty leagues. You can use them as trade chips to acquire healthy players or other assets. This way, sidelined players can be transformed into active contributors for your roster. Different fantasy platforms have varying rules regarding the injured reserve spot. Some platforms, like Yahoo and ESPN, automatically place eligible injured players into the injured reserve spot, others requiring you to manage this manually. If you fail to move injured players to the injured reserve spot when they are eligible, you may block yourself from making waiver claims since the injured player occupies an active roster slot. Therefore, proactive management of your injured reserve spot is vital to maintain roster flexibility. A practical tactic is to use the injured reserve spot to extend your bench temporarily. For example, on Yahoo, you can set waiver wire requests before the system resets player statuses midweek. This allows you to keep players on injured reserve while still processing waiver claims for healthy players. This effectively increases your roster capacity for a short period. To summarize, effective use of the injured reserve spot involves promptly moving officially injured players to injured reserve as soon as they are designated out or placed on injured reserve. Use the freed-up roster spot to claim high-upside waiver wire players who can contribute immediately. Keep monitoring injury news closely to time your injured reserve moves and waiver claims strategically. Additionally, consider leveraging players on injured reserve as trade assets when appropriate. Understanding your platform's injured reserve rules will help you avoid roster lock issues. By using timing hacks, you can maximize your roster flexibility around waiver processing. This approach turns the injured reserve spot into an active tool for roster management and waiver wire strategy, helping you stay competitive throughout the fantasy football season.